Because if you have a new type of data set, and if you have new types of tasks, it might be very difficult to anticipate what you actually need interactively in order to solve a specific task you haven't seen yet, right? So therefore, it might be much easier to say, okay, you have the data set, you also have all the tasks, the queries, whatever, and then you can start and build your thing. Whereas even if I give you a few examples, then you would need to anticipate the wealth, the possible universe of queries, which already for LSC is sometimes difficult when you come up with a new way of phrasing things and say, oh yeah, but this is only answerable because of this type of information I never considered. And even though it was always there, nobody ever looked at it because it was never used. So therefore, I would really emphasize the asynchronous part of this for new stuff. And if we want to do interactive things, then they should be reasonably close to things people are already familiar with, right? Because we see with VBS and LSC how high the barrier of entry already is. And if we then say, okay, we're now going to do something that is more complicated than this, or even at least more new, there's completely clean slate. And the people at this table will not have a lot of time to actually participate in this, because because everybody here is involved in actually building the back end of this. So there's not going to be participating teams that are sitting here. This too. But this is an independent problem. But even saying, look, everybody here is probably out of participating because of conflict of interest and because we might already know the ground truth because we have been there. So that already cuts out a whole swath of people who already have the experience with this sort of stuff, right? So it has to have the task can be difficult to do, but it should not have it should not be difficult to attempt.
So how would you design the asynchronous part? It would still be interactive, and we would still give rules of time limit? Or
I would essentially have tasks where we do not specify very closely how people solve them, and just do the classic, look, here's a bunch of queries. Here's how we're going. Here's the format you're supposed to present your results in. Here's the metrics we're going to use. You have 3 months.
Yeah.
Go.
And you have a limit. Like, let's say you do an interactive task. You have a limit of 3 minutes per task.
Well, not even necessarily, right? Because you can. Dragvid also did this. You can just say you have to specify how you did it, and then we say if you have a thing that is completely automated that does not require any human input, then it goes into one bucket. If you have a thing that was human-machine collaboration, it goes into another bucket. And then you're supposed to report, of course we cannot precisely validate this, but you're supposed to report the time, the number of rounds, or whatever is applicable for your approach. Again, this needs to be somewhat broad because people might have very different approaches to do this. But ultimately everybody just generates a rank ordered list of results or whatever fits the actual task description. Yes, or a string or an integer value if it or something like this, and then we will evaluate this in a maybe fully automated. If we just have a ground truth we can compare it to, maybe a judged, and then we do all this pooling stuff.
We
that
probably
is.
have to do a pooling because the data is going to be too big.
I mean, for some, I can think of some types of tasks. So, for example, if you, and this is something I alluded to yesterday. I'm already having sneakily repositioning stuff all around the house. So there are some things, and I'm not going to go into more details because otherwise I'm going to giving away the task.
Was that cacao powder?
No, not the cacao
And
powder.
not the chocolate?
Also not the chocolate.
Banana?
But I mean that might also be a type of where was the thing kind of task. Because then there is we actively interacted with the thing. There's also some things you're probably not going to interact with, but that if you look back at the video, you will notice that it was there, but you probably haven't paid attention to it. And now everybody's looking around trying to figure out what I might be talking about.
I'm extremely bad in that.
I'm
You can
gonna
replace it now and
yes, I'm gonna tell you eventually, right? But essentially, okay. Tell me all the locations where that thing was across the time, right? And then it's somewhat automatable.
And you've got a record, right?
I have notes.
No, so that's enough. That's good enough.
That's very interesting for this virtual forensic stuff that Zeno and colleagues do at Netherlands Forensic Institute. They have this virtual forensic lab and so on. I think this is kind of going a little bit also touching sister communities, I have to say.
I mean, the other thing is you have the receipts from shopping, so you know how much stuff we bought of which things. So
Yes. Oh, that too.
It
That's
strikes me
also
that
that's
you
also
Good
interesting.
report then, yes.
That's also
I
interesting.
tried a photocopy of them all, or
Yeah.
a picture of them all.
Yeah.
Not quite all. The very long one. Yes.
Where's the video camera?
And what the stuff you bought today is not
You have
on.
it as a hidden
I have
ground
it
truth.
on the camera.
Yes. If it's not on the
Yeah.
camera,
Okay,
then you
yeah,
have
yeah.
It strikes me
hidden
that is a very nice hackathon task. The diet. Generate the recipe book.
Yeah,
That's a simple hackathon
yeah,
task. that
and I
we
think
set.
this is what I meant.
That
before,
might
like,
also be a
there is
challenge
work
task,
on-
though, because that can be
That can
ground
be
truth,
evaluated,
right?
yeah.
We can
We
evaluate
have to,
this.
so we actually have to make our own recipe book again.
Yeah.
after
What
this.
what I would also like to do, what I think would be interesting more for maybe the computer vision focused people, is if I brought the camera, right, and I'm gonna take some pictures later, and we can release some of those pictures, but not others, and then say, okay, what did the camera see? Reconstruct the image based on, you have a bunch of other cameras, you can reconstruct the scene because at least much of the environment doesn't change all that much. So you can probably generate a very accurate 3D reconstruction of the environment. And I'm just gonna, you get a few training images to learn the properties of the camera. Right? And it's like, okay, what was the focal length? What are the sensor properties? Yada yada yada. And then we have the images, and then I can even do a just pixel-based. How accurate was the reconstruction?
I like that.
It's great.
I also brought a thermal camera that we can
Yeah,
take
this
some.
is
It's very low res and it only does pictures, but we can run around with this and take some pictures and see if that gives something interesting.
Can I just I'm thinking about another one that we did once, and it's funny. So you have Google Street View for most of the cities. Like in Amsterdam, many years ago, we started thinking with the city. When I say city, Chief Technology Office and Data Lab. It's a bit risky, to use commercial products because at some point they even change the terms of service, or they start charging insanely high, So Amsterdam has own panorama vehicles, like many cities. You capture them with moving cars or even from the boats, there are cameras mounted there and you kind of stitch them into omnidirectional panorama. So interesting, we used it for some things, aside that you need to anonymize it properly and so on, but we used it for obvious stuff that our community would use, detecting objects in a public space, monitoring state of assets, like garbage we even did and so on and so on. But catch is, so now comes interesting thing. So in a big organization like a municipality of that size, you have 50 to 80 departments, and they have all product owners and so on, managers basically, and if they find it interesting enough, to incorporate this into their pipelines, then it can be expanded and so on, and it can actually save costs on many things. Mm-hmm. So the city organized once a hackathon. I was in a jury, and that was really interesting. So on the first day come people from different kind of departments, and one is basically monitoring state of the advertisements in a public space. It's kind of you have to pay a tax to put anything in a public space as an advertisement. Apparently in many cities, people just like hang something,
Right.
hoping nobody's gonna see. There are even strict regulations on, for example, light pollution. You know, like if you put a light symbol there, well, it may be preventing people from sleeping. You know, and so on. So anyhow, the head of department came and he was really like, hey, look, there are these panoramas, but we have no idea what they can be used for, and we are totally willing to invest this much and this much. You know, like if we see kind of evidence that you can reliably detect automatically all the advertisements in public space. So there comes another person that says, oh, if you can show us this and this. So there were like 5-6 people that came, and for 2 days people were busy really. And actually, they were even kind of sometimes describing it very vaguely, but they were like really, hey, there must be something that we are not seeing there, because otherwise we would be probably using it. If you find something useful in it, when it comes to advertisement and so on, please also let us know. So, where I'm going with this one, we have this data now. So for a hackathon, I think it would be handy to give some guidelines, kind of give some ideas. Hey, look, invite some people from our community that have been working on food, like Tatsen, Chongwa, and so on and so on. They kind of say, hey, look, this is what community has been doing. Some people that were doing this could be in this direction. Doesn't have to be the same, you know, like, and then give some other hints what people use it for. Recipes, you know, like there is this 1 million recipe, you know. We attempted to cook Asian food in Ireland, but I'm quite sure and it tasted great, but it's probably not the original ingredients. So what did we get?
Close enough.
Close enough, yeah, but close enough. That's really great. What did you replace with what? You know? So I think that kind of stuff, and then kind of that's hackathon. And I think for Grand Challenge, at least I think we need to keep some interaction, because if you look what most of the people do, like in NeurIPSys, iClears, computer vision conferences and so on, it's mostly fully automatic stuff. And this is like sports event. It's fun. It's I think that's some kind of joy that we are bringing to the table of a conference, any conference.
Absolutely. But then again, interactive has a high barrier of entry, so it should not be exclusive.
Yeah, I think what's coming out from the conversation is there's an asynchronous task and there's a synchronous task.
Yeah.
The asynchronous task is going to be lower barrier to entry. Any student in any university that can get his hands on 20 terabytes or her hands on 20 terabytes of disk space can process a data set, can process 24 queries or whatever we decide to do, send in results, pooled relevance judgments, submission back, whatever, right, answers back, results back. And those that want to do the interactive element will come to the actual conference definitely, right? And they will take part in an interactive Grand Challenge, which is part of the conference. That's why they asked us to do it, right? They wanted the VBS and the LSC in
and they need more interaction.
Yeah.
Like we forgot that
Exactly.
one. Like that was the thing. Multimodality, agents, interaction. That's like basically 3 cornerstones.
So if we take it back to the simplest thing, there's a ad hoc and there's a Q&A set, right? And then we lead to synchronous challenge, which is ad hoc and Q&A, maybe something else thrown in there, people know well in advance. And that's the first year. And next year we use the same data set, do it again with a grander set of challenges for people. That does look at the recipe creation or whatever it is we decide we want to do. But we get it kicked off where we can show the success by having, what is success, 10 participants?
Yeah,
That's success
I mean,
levels.
ideally this would then also grow over time, because there's a lot of data well, there's a lot of data augmentation that can be done.
Yes.
So ideally, what I would like to see at some point, which should be very doable for a large fraction of time. So most of us are going to be visible by at least one camera most of the time. We have a trajectory that can be reconstructed just based on the sensor streams that should be on this. So you should not only be able to have the position of every person in time, you could also do the full pose reconstruction, have all the skeleton control points. So you essentially can back project the people into the space, how they were posing, and then do this for all the actiony things, interacty things. Even if people want to do robot-y things, right? So you at least have a barometer, how did people interact with stuff. But this is not necessarily very difficult from a technology, or at least from a science point of view, right? So methods to do this exist. It is just going to be work to actually do this.
That is
So we
the
will
VPR
probably
brand
not.
challenge then.
Yeah, so we're not going to release this in February with a high fidelity annotated skeleton postings, because even if somebody wanted to do this, it will just take some time to do
Wouldn't
properly.
it be something someone could do for the hackathon?
Yes, something like this. I would totally put something like this on the list.
Yeah.
Hackathon focus was healthcare slash
Yeah.
wellness.
Yes, but even I
You
mean,
could do two, right?
Post reconstruction is a number of healthcare applications.
Motion of person, motion of the elderly person around the home.
Yeah.
Is social interaction
We,
healthcare.
we need to
mental
start knocking
health.
people over onto the ground.
I don't
Sanity checking.
think you want to go there.
Social interaction.
yes, no, absolutely,
Think
right.
of us, you know, like.
But I guess for the
Evaluate the average sanity over
for
time.
the for the for the hackathon, I would even keep it more open and say, look,
Yeah.
this is the broad topic. These are some possible things we have come up with that we think would be interesting. You are supposed to, if you want to participate, sign up, propose a team, propose a task, and probably we will just accept everything that is sensible, and as long as we have the capacity, and then our hackathon chairs are going to figure out all the rest, and possibly maybe we can get somebody to sponsor a best hackathon something.
Sponsored by ACM Multimedia. 2025.
I mean, one thing I was thinking also, I mean, for this tutorial on XR search, one insight was basically there's work on mixed reality search engines like they do at Basel, but there is no way of evaluating them. So
It's a
this
pain,
could also
yes.
be one thing. Like, I mean, I was thinking you have a lot of things happening in the kitchen. So you could be in a real kitchen where you have items that you could use as query objects.
Mm-hmm.
So this could also be an exploration of like how would you set up a comparative interactive environment in which you test XR or MR search, right? Which is really something that's not there yet.
Totally.
Which is interesting enough because there's commercial interest in actually building such
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
and there's, I mean, it's very wild west these days, right? There's
Yeah.
people trying all these sort of things. It's very niche at this point in time, but ubiquitous computing has been a buzzword for a while, and it is cooking up every once in a while. So I would not be surprised if there would be more commercial interest within the next few years to really try and put products into people's hands. I don't know to what degree these products are driven by needs, or to what degree this is driven by what can we currently actually make work.
Yeah, of course. It's also like always like having a new feature for every release of another generation of devices,
Yeah.
of course, because just saying, okay, there's now a few 100,000 pixels more again.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, it's not the most
Yeah,
catchy argument. so you
we've
need-
run out of things you can
Yeah,
perceive,
yeah.
right? So
Okay, so what's the next steps? Somebody writes down what we came up with, and we have a discussion again.
No,
What is document? Everything is documented.
well, I mean, everything is everything is.
Another suggestion, maybe just a small one, to spice it up. And I started thinking of spice it up. Actually. Hey, there was this article, you know, like speaking of this pseudo psychology, you know, like about organizational theories and so on. Have you ever seen a
Well, you told me about this, yes.
you take a sheet of paper, you literally salt it, you smash it right away, and it reduces your stress. It was very well known in some journals of dubious science. Yeah, actually unbelievable, but okay. So, what I was thinking, you mentioned that I just read an article, I couldn't believe it. It's actually some very well-known names they made. So, putting a pepper on me maybe reduces my stress. But do the salt. And then anyway, and for yourself.
Yeah.
So, what I was aiming at, somebody mentioned that we are going to be familiar with the data set and a process. People around us also a little bit more, you know, right? Because you tell colleagues, friends, you know. for a hackathon, maybe it could be a good idea to assign to each team that applies, and we ask people to apply beforehand, a shepherd, somebody who's this or that way involved. And we kind of also organize it as a competition, meaning that shepherd is going to be guiding the team. You see where I'm going, and helping them make the best out of what they want, not really telling them what to do, but kind of trying to squeeze. I see some fronts, probably not a good idea. Werner takes team A from Tsinghua, and Kahal takes a team from.
Oh,
I can see
you're
that,
doing
yes.
it like
Yes, I mean, this is-
American Idol is really
Yeah, no, this is
Why not?
No,
it's an interesting approach. I like the idea. I'm a bit worried about its implementation because many people on this table are going to be very busy these days, especially during the time of that hackathon.
Yeah, we won't have any. Actually, half the people here won't have any spare time during that hackathon. Actually, you won't either.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair,
It's
if
gonna be in a weekend,
we,
isn't
we,
it?
we should we should ideally have some time during that hackathon, because if
Stupid
we
idea.
are busy running around, then something went horribly wrong
Well,
at that
most
point in time.
cases, it's the general chairs that will be busy handing out whiskies and stuff during the conference. So you guys should actually have an enjoyable week in reality, so you will have time to do stuff.
but I guess before the hackathon, it could be in the preparation phase. It could
Yes.
be light involvement, and I guess someone needs to be there anyway during the hackathon. So
Like,
I think this shepherding idea could work. I'm not sure because you said putting it more in like a competition. I don't think. I mean, there might be very different ideas, so you can't really
Yeah, so
compare
it's
them, so I-
more of a jury kind of thing.
yeah.
which
Yes.
is okay. The
Yeah.
TPC co-chairs will only be really busy in June, right?
We will-
Chasing down 1,000 missing reviews or something.
Program and all
I-
the things.
The program stuff will happen in July, right? Once you know all of it. You'll have lots of time. Lots of
So much time. We will not know what to do with
You will have
all that
4
time.
weeks during the conference.
We'll not know what to do during
remember, there's
all
one
the.
thing we have to keep in mind. Whatever we decide to do for the hackathon, poor Vincent will be under pressure to replicate it next year. So it's just, it rolls on.
Yeah.
Not entirely convinced that this is our immediate problem, because we need to make it first. We need to make it work the first time.
You make it attractive, but
And then-
you'll typically take part.
and
Not
make
take
Yes.
a change. So
But I think
Yeah.
you know,
Finally.
some kind of reconstruction, data
I love it.
documentation, make it very flexible.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can propose some health-related topics like recipe,
Recipe generation
sanity
is beautiful.
checking. I don't know,
I love that.
that if you can
Yeah.
evaluate, if you have ways to evaluate, public mental health, can you apply them and give people sanity ratings and see whether there's a decline over across the days of the workshop?
Yeah. Where
No,
there's
whatever you want, right? It's-
anything left to decline.
What is also interesting is all these. If you look at what people do with this tracking of elderly homes, I was mentioning, are people, for example, classic question, did they fall? Okay, that's not happening here. Hopefully, so far nobody fell. I think. but the
Kyle
should-
said it's a dry house. That's why
We should
nobody
have
fell.
more. We're just gonna strew more banana peels and stuff. So to.
We should do that.
But another one, for example, that they were catching, and there were commercial products also like on it. Are people hydrated enough? Did they take enough of this? Did they take enough of that?
Yeah.
And so on and
This
so on.
is like what's going to be really useful for elderly people independent living.
Now we
Where
are hitting all
They
these
won't wear
subjects
this,
somehow.
they may have those guys.
Yeah, exactly,
So
yeah.
the data
Yeah.
set's really useful for that. So
Yeah.
that kind of a challenge is nice.
Totally. Maybe we get in touch with the case.
I have a
and,
company. I have a
people.
company that does that as well. Not I have.
I
We
mean-
work with a company, but they'd be really interested in sponsoring something like that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can do this with proxy task. I mean, this is the drug I'm supposed to take to keep me alive. So did I get my level of
Your vital dose of
Yeah,
caffeine.
Exactly.
But it all ties in with the recipe generation. What did you put in the meals? The amount of consumption that each individual person has done. Can we pull that out of the two cameras,
Yeah,
or
did,
just
did, did we get a variety of nutritional ingredients?
Yeah.
Such a nice
Alle- allergy warnings.
Yeah.
We have to at least get 2 years out of this data set before we make a new one now.
I think that's
Yeah.
Bigger and longer,
Yeah.
with bigger SD cards.
with bigger, more everything. I think this is something that is on the agenda for later in the week to see what if we had infinite time and infinite money.
Yeah. Well, this was done on a massive budget. That's why we're at the end of the world. We had done this in Wicklow beside Dublin, short drive, access to more facilities close by, but it would have been double the price. So we had a rough envelope of 10,000.
Yes, and I mean these things are
already, right?
These things are nice.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. If we had designed this from scratch, this would look different, right? But
then I would have had to have 20,000 because we would have had to put together something.
Yeah.
We happen to have these.
no, if we had designed this from scratch, you're talking quite a bit more. But
Yeah, but we can always
remains to be seen.
We
Yeah,
could get these police body cams and so
Actually,
on.
we thought
They would
about-
be
we thought
worse.
about strapping these on here, right? We thought
this
about
was
it.
this was the
We didn't
first
do it.
this was the first idea we had. So no, just
In
do
fact, we still like that
do
idea.
the harness, do the harness.
Yeah.
The problem with the harness, if I have the camera here, and I do this, right?
Yeah.
I can already move my eyes, and you will have no idea where I'm looking at. But at least if I move, at least if I move my head, at least you see what I'm looking
If
at.
somebody builds
If-
a tracking camera with eye movement detector built in,
I mean, honestly, they're like fairly compact sensors for eye tracking. No?
Yes, I mean-
not like the one we have in the other room.
No, but I mean, there's things that could be done if it's
if Luca has a lot of time,
if
to
it's
build
if
it,
it's
right?
if it's if it's feasible. I'm not an electrical engineer, so this is there's probably if you actually need to do this. Yeah.
Electrical engineer.
glasses for two cameras, eye tracking and movement.
Right.
It can all be done.
It can be done.
And a battery pack.
To be fair, even in this like version, as long as there are two people sort of facing each other, there
Yes,
should be a
this
way
is
to
this is
reconstruct
this is
eye-
this is definitely also some data augmentation thing I would want to do, right? If I look at you, can I reconstruct based on your feed where your point of attention was at any point in time,
Exactly.
given
Yeah.
that I
That can be
seen
such
yes.
a cool task.
Yeah.
Actually, estimation from another person's another point of view.
Yeah.
Speaking
Yes.
of which, Kachel, I think your camera is also a little bit high.
Is it?
Can we reconstruct everything in
can we
VR?
just like do one thing, because
Yeah,
Klaus
that
now
would be
asked
nice.
me what did we finally conclude. So no.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So just like
little bit
for
further?
a catch, and also for
I
basically
think
maybe it becomes a
that
task.
is
Can we
better.
now summarize? This is what we think now. Grand challenge is roughly going to be just as a summary. If somebody can kind of repeat this grand
Am I okay?
challenge, this is going to be hackathon.
Better.
Bit high. Still.
I-
Still a little bit
for-
high, but
for-
the screen is not on, so I can't.
So
really
guys,
tell so
summary coming.
Yes.
think
Some
this
some
better, yeah.
summary.
Everybody look at Luca.
Yes.
No, but I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that for the actual challenge, we can have several subtasks that. So I mean, first to tracks the interactive thing, that stuff is happening there on site, and the more traditional, you send us results, we're going to tell you how well you did. Non-interactive stuff. For the former, it will probably have to be reasonably similar to the two interactive challenges we've already been doing. So have some instance retrieval and have some question answering with a human in the loop
And we
aspect.
would like to attract VPS teams and LSC teams,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And we would do judging maybe with a few people from
Similar.
Yes. So
Yes,
so
yeah.
from a
We
from
are
a
judges,
setup
yes.
point of view, from an infrastructure point of view, also how the tasks are designed, how the tasks are presented, it would be the exact same thing as a VBS and
And
LSC.
then you could later go to the VPS and LSC, but for the first
Yes,
time.
we might even
Yeah, multimedia.
push
Yeah, they say
push
multimedia.
push this into one of those
Yeah.
possibly, which makes the communication to the people reasonably easy. I mean, what we might want to do anyway is just write a brief. If you have never heard of VBS and LSC, this is how it works kind of document, which we're missing anyway. So onboarding for new teams is hard because you essentially have to chronologically read a decade of publications to see how the stuff actually works. But that would be the interactive part. And then there's a bunch of logistics we need to figure out, but this is essentially just work. So this is not difficult.
And for non-interactive, we could do almost the same tasks, but asynchronously.
Yes.
Yeah.
Plus more stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So some of the things that we've said that we can actually evaluate that are different type of tasks, as in reconstruct this view from this point. So I actually took the picture, but I'm not showing you the picture.
Also,
Or the
view, region of interest / salient objects or eye gaze
That might be-
from another person's
that
point
might
of
be
view.
difficult to evaluate because we don't have the ground truth.
Yeah.
So this is more of a hackathon kind of thing.
Yeah. Or
Because there we can
comparing it
look
to
at it
yeah.
and see if it is reasonable. But if two teams submit something similar, we don't have a precise metric to see how good is this, because otherwise somebody would actually need to have the eye tracker. Right. So these would be the so that definitely the question answering the instance retrieval stuff in both tracks.
Yeah.
And the non-interactive would have additional tracks for reconstruction-y things that you could not reasonably do interactively. That also would not necessarily need human input because it's more of an algorithmic.
Like recipes or something that we could.
Yes, regenerate this recipe,
Yeah.
regenerate this schedule for this person. Count the number of this person did this time or on this day this kind of action was performed.
Right.
This sort of thing. This is still sort of kind of question answery. I would really want to do the visual reconstruction thing for the also so the computer vision people also have an interesting task. Things like that, right?
So just thinking about the reconstruction, maybe something we should do while we're here is taking measurements of all the rooms as a ground truth.
Yes. Do we have a?
Is there a blueprint of the house?
Well,
I doubt they'll give us.
I mean-
that's a bit funny. I might get measuring tape on Friday morning. Yeah.
Well,
Cahal, that must be if they were selling it. There must be a floor plan. In the Netherlands,
Yes,
at
I'm
least
just
you'll
thinking
find
what
for
happens
houses.
when I
I'm not sure
contact
how
them
the
and say,
furniture is also.
"Thank you for the week in your home. It was wonderful. Have you got the floor plans and the measurements?" Already, I'm thinking, "Oh, it's a data going to be out there with all their beautiful furniture in it." If I ask for any more, I'm a little bit hesitant to ask for that. I'd rather we just take our measurements.
yeah.
To be fair, I think
We-
most
we-
modern smartphones can do reasonably accurate
Yes.
measurement,
Yeah.
so we can probably just do it ourselves without.
There is a hardware store in the super value, so we would have that.
We could get a automatic vacuum cleaner to generate the floor plan.
No, but I mean, you presumably as long as we have a reference object that we know the precise dimensions
True,
of,
yeah.
everything else
Yeah,
could technically
yeah.
be reconstructed based on
That
on the.
Yeah.
I was more thinking about something that is properly
Yeah.
like
Stable,
has a pattern on it that you can actually calibrate the camera and
Cahal, you will need to walk through
things-
the house with this milk carton. I'm sorry.
things like that. But I mean, or just you can do essentially volumetric reconstruction just based on all these images.
Yeah, no, it's just about like if you want to make it useful, it's as a data set. it's
Yes.
also good
The
to
more
have a
stuff we
ground
have, the
truth,
better,
yeah.
right? Okay, so do you have a plan for thinking about this, and tomorrow we kind of finalize what that looks like?
Yeah. And I guess for the hackathon we discussed a bunch of things that would be interesting, so it might be good. And I don't have the agenda we came up with on the top of my head,
I'm just running a list of tasks.
but it might
It's
be
on the
good
fridge.
if everybody also thinks about
You have the summary up first day? Something?
what do you mean?
Like video or something?
Yeah, I have some metadata of the video that
Should we,
I'll come to some of the results from yesterday in a bit.
No, taking.
should we have a viewing of some of the data from yesterday?
Viewing on
A viewing, probably not.
Of the funniest things that happened yesterday.
If I don't have that technology.
Okay, before we get up, I want to draw the list of tasks that everybody should be kind of doing it over the course of this time, right?
Right.
So we have cooking, we know that already, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's cooking something. Everybody's cleaning after cooking, right?
By the way, did you
Everybody
have
should
a
be doing
chance
the
to
reading
try the
experiment.
disc on another?
All along will chase you down.
Not yet. Okay. Can you try later if it makes a difference?
Okay.
Let's not all do the reading experiments on Friday afternoon, right?
Come on.
It's not the most fun
Try to
element,
get as
but
How
many
long?
people as you can today.
20
Still a
minutes.
lot of files.
Okay.
Yes.
Everybody has to read
No, yeah, sure, absolutely. But I mean, if
a book, right?
Allowed?
if it's quicker on the other,
Yeah, but it
Um,
should be
Then
in the
it's-
guidelines. Do you want
then it might
allowed
actually
or allowed?
be. It's probably not going to be done
I'm just thinking,
anytime
what's the-
soon,
what's the
but
benefit
it
of
might be
reading it? Read
at
aloud.
least get to a point
why not?
where
It's
it
extra data,
makes
right?
sense.
How about the read
Then get some audience.
Very weird.
velocity, the read
Yeah.
time?
Imagine you have a kid there.
How about the read time of the XDD? Oh, is it XDD? So is it longer than normal?
Yeah, no, but the thing is, I'm
We've only
not
done the
convinced
Christmas tree.
that it's not a problem with the USB connection. So, I mean,
Everybody should
we
at
can
least try to make noise
look
on
at
the
it
guitar,
afterwards
Alright.
Noise
together.
on guitar.
you want.
I won't call it music. Guitar.
So, do we have a printer in the house?
No.
No, okay.
I
I need some cord. I'll
Yeah.
rig up some
No,
cord.
we're getting the third laptop.
Yes,
But I
I will
can
set
put-
up that device
One
later
of the
today.
helpers can do it, right? Just need to.
No, we can. This is a task. We can do the. I will set this machine up later today
Okay, so this is reading
chords.
music.
That's all.
with what?
Well,
Chords,
I try to
guitar
use
chords.
With Ubuntu, and then you can do whatever you want with it.
With
Install
tabs,
software.
it directly boots into some MIDI thing, and it's.
Not everybody can do laundry, so I'm doing laundry and somebody else probably do laundry.
Oh, right.
Yes. Install some musical qualifications.
Train.
Games?
Okay, so games, and games will be multiple. We have wooden block game,
Oh yeah. That's what we
Excuse
did.
me, wooden block tower game.
wooden block,
Tower.
tower.
Depends on if it's tower game or
There's
just
blocks.
Well, there's a tower in there right now, and it's very impressive that it's still standing.
Yes.
Um,
But the question is, how many blocks can you pull down of that tower before it collapses?
It looks like one.
One.
Yeah, exactly. No, it looks like zero before it collapses.
Well, you might be able to
The
take the
top.
topmost.
Yes, maybe.
Yeah,
game,
but
But aside that,
yeah.
Buckaroo,
what?
Chess.
Buckaroo game.
Buckaroo, what's the Buckaroo game?
It's in there. It's
Chess
the one where you
connect
put the things on the
put it
column
on
or
the-
podium and
Ignoring
shows
Oh.
off. Poker, proper poker,
What is proper
proper
poker?
poker.
Dublin.
Dublin poker.
Dublin rules.
And chess.
That's
Connect
console.
Four.
We don't
On
get
the
everybody
table,
into. Everything's in on the table, yeah. Chess, Connect Four.
I didn't play chess since elementary school.
We should
It'd be
have
funny if
The
I
rules
could,
are still
you
the same.
darts,
Darts.
Stefan, you play
Yeah,
against
there's
me,
the
same
chess
for
one.
me.
chess or
Fi-
equivalent.
I'm not joking.
Finally, a worthy opponent, somebody who plays at my level.
What's the equivalent
that's gonna be
of chess
hilarious,
that you
yeah.
have here?
Drafts. You take the Connect Four pieces and you play drafts with it.
Google rules.
It's
It's an easier game than
That
chess.
machine is.
People will be feeling less
Like
stressed.
checkers
Okay,
or
drawing.
it's similar.
We need a
to
chess program. Yeah.
Drawing a
Similar to
picture.
check-
Suggest-
similar to
Well, I mean, we
checkers.
can play checkers with the
Writing.
Connect
Yeah.
4
But
pieces.
you don't have pencils. You don't
It's
have.
We do.
something
We've got colored
Whoever
markers.
first
We've got
opens the
30
web page with some
Oh, I didn't get
basic
anything. That's why I
tactics
had
is
to
probably
play
gonna be the best.
it.
What?
She painted a picture with enamel paint used for
Yes, but this is much nicer because the others are
what was that?
Crude.
What was the other thing we said?
Origami.
Origami.
Paper.
Paper plane.
I would want some colors, please.
yes. You have colors. With these colors, you will not be able to achieve precision.
Long game, dart / long game.
At the end of the day, remember that.
Is that it?
This is
Thesis?
quiz.
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 Those of us who are still
I have somebody handing up a thesis this week if you want to read it. You're very welcome.
Is that the reading task?
Reading task. Somebody please read News PhD. The happy quiz. Anything else?
I think that's it.
I think that's enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. About 20.
Teach somebody a card game.
Teach.
Well, teach.
Uno.
No, if
I wanna
If-
poker.
if-
Because I also
yes.
didn't play that one.
if
If
people.
She will take all your money while you're learning.
Dublin rules.
I wanna learn.
No, but but definitely, if you have a thing that you can teach other people, that would be very
Much less
interesting.
complicated.
So I call
What do you mean much less
Klaus
complicated?
card
How
game.
much less
Yes.
complicated?
You get all your cards.
Yeah.
You're allowed to change one. You go. Simple.
Okay.
5 cards. Oh, yeah, I want to go to this one. Take another card. Thank you. Show your cards.
Until you have a
Oh.
very bad
That is.
It's poker. It's proper.
No.
It's a version of poker, yes.
Okay, and how many rounds of betting are there?
What's the rule? What's the
You
rule?
just keep going until you finish.
So,
No.
do you
but
know
like,
the normal rule?
You
of
still bet
poker?
with chips, right?
Yes.
I used to know.
But like,
no.
so you
I
get
will
your
raise
cards.
you 50.
Haven't played
Yeah,
it.
no.
And you'll match me.
There's
And you raise
there's
me.
however many
Alright.
rounds
Okay,
until
okay.
it
Try to get
stabilizes.
some patterns
But there should be a
out
round
of
before you
5
switch your
cards.
card.
For
and
example,
after you
like-
switch your card.
Yes,
Pairs
yes,
and
yes.
Yeah,
That would be
yeah.
more
But
okay.
his version is that you get 5 cards at once.
But you
Their
have a round
version
of
is
betting
that you
before you
have
switch
2
cards,
cards
and then
on your
after.
own and 3
No, we don't
and
do after.
the
We can
other
do it. We can do it. We can do
5
both.
cards
It
on
would
the
be more
table.
interesting with
Yeah.
before.
I think I was
Okay.
playing that one.
Okay.
That's
Because
That's
they,
proper poker.
but the thing is that the sets
Look,
the sets
We
that
play
you
proper
bought.
poker. You play
Just
some
so-
Texas poker
Texas
team.
poker.
No,
Yes,
but
bite
the thing is
them, bite
that
them.
the sets
I can play it as well.
on the sets there were slots for the cards, so
Okay.
they were playing according to
We'll
the
play
sets.
snap.
Snap.
What is snap?
Whoever gets a matching card. Snap.
Ah, yes.
It's actually good fun.
Yeah.
So
if you're 12.
that double poker.
We'll do Dublin poker.
Yeah.
All along you're in.
Sure.
Dublin rules.
Sure.
Very good. So
Okay,
basically,
so let me
it's
change
one off, you
poker.
get a card,
Proper
so you
poker
can,
is already in there, yes.
Get new
Proper
doubt
poker.
We play proper poker.
Yes.
But that means your credit card is out.
What was
Your
it?
credit card goes on the
The wallets and
Yeah, that's proper.
I gotta
Okay,
put this on the
that's
fridge.
proper.
Right? The only thing, not everybody can actually do laundry, but everybody can do cleaning.
Sweeping the house, you mean?
Everybody is expected to clean up after 2 meals. Right? Over the course of
Okay.
the month. That's reasonable.
I can do cleaning now. I didn't do
You're
cleaning.
cooking. No, you
Yeah,
cook.
you're
No,
cooking.
you're
Yeah,
the
you cook to
chef.
clean.
You're the
since
breakfast
the
chef
start.
every day apparently now, so.
Self-appointed, plus helping with lunches.
So
Did
who
you,
was lunch?
did you get the rolling pin when you were shopping?
We didn't, but we got a very tightly wound aluminium foil.
I was kind of afraid that you would say that, but okay, sure, we can make that.
It was
we
the
can,
cheapest one, so it was really, really small. It's perfect.
we can make that work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did yours done.
We that was a decision taken.
Well, he.
That's the wrong decision taken.
A decision taken by people.
The other option was we went to Galway and we're still on the way back now.
There was no rolling pin?
Or, order it from Amazon, it will arrive next week.
Yeah, there was no rolling pin.
There's no rolling pin.
There was no rolling
No
pin.
rolling pin. We didn't have the cameras on, so nobody can prove
Yeah.
anything.
There was no rolling pin.
So lunch is
Chicken hot.
chicken hot pot.
Yeah.
It's gonna. I'm cooking with you, right? Is that the plan?
No.
Do it by yourself.
That is late.
It was just me, Lynn, and Bao.
Okay, fine.
But I thought you'd done a do curry.
How long
Yeah,
will it
but
take?
the thing is that they are not wearing cameras, so
Yes.
I have to do it for them.
Or somebody else can do it. They can instruct people.
Maybe a bit more. because-
It would actually be much more interesting if it's somebody who has no idea what they're doing.
Right.
And you just have to give instructions.
Oh, if you're willing to have a really bad one.
You can do it, right?
If you're willing to have to risk it, we have plenty of food, right?
Yes. What's the worst that can happen? Famous last words.
Just in case.
Yeah.
The NTCR queries and get them out.
Now,
Yeah.
on camera.
On camera. Because it's going to be the query is going to be out before the day set comes out for this.
Yeah, okay.
So it's meta.
Yeah, but can I do it after lunch?
Okay. You cooking lunch now?
No, not now.
No, but you find some volunteers wearing cameras who have no idea, who've never seen the recipe, and then that's much more interesting.
The important thing is that even the person who suggested the recipe doesn't know what he's doing.
That's even more interesting. No, that's
I needed to get more stuff this morning.
yeah. No, that's great. So
But you've made it before.
No.
No.
So
Okay.
nobody made it before because we actually
It's
don't know what
okay.
we're doing.
It's fine. Let's cook the ham as well.
Oh yeah, what's the ham for?
Sandwiches
Okay, you can do that as a
Okay.
backup.
for the trip back
for the trip back.
on Saturday.
Okay.
Alright.
Great job.
It's actually-
Okay. Who are the two people who are doing the cleaning?
I can do it.
Lovely. You're the two people. Perfect.
Yes.
I'll go back to the
I
laundry.
will do the copy. Yeah.
We can. I will join you and
Yes.
we can do that. I will come with you. We can have a look at this together.
Two type of cameras, right?
So let me just stop this.